mockery of all the government officials acknowledging Moorish American people as Aboriginal and Indigenous to North, Central, and South America, President Barack Obama signed the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples in 2010, which states the following: Article 1, Indigenous peoples have the right to the full enjoyment, as a collective or as individuals, of all human rights and fundamental freedoms as recognized in the Charter of the United Nations, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and international human rights law. Article 2 states, Indigenous peoples and individuals are free and equal to other people and individuals and have the right to be free from any kind of discrimination in the exercise of their rights, in particular that based on their indigenous origin or identity. Article 3 states, Indigenous peoples have the right to self-determination. By virtue of that right they freely determine their political status and freely pursue their economic, social and cultural development. And Article 4 of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples that President Barack Obama signed in 2010 gives recognition to the evidence that Union state courts have no jurisdiction over Moorish American nationals by stating the following: Indigenous peoples, in exercising their right to self-determination, have the right to autonomy or self-government in matters relating to their internal and local affairs, as well as ways and means for financing their autonomous functions. Article 6 states that every Indigenous individual has a right to a nationality. Article 8 Section 2 subsection E says that states shall provide redress for any form of propaganda designed to promote or incite racial or ethnic discrimination directed against them. Article 37 Section 1 states, Indigenous peoples have the right to the recognition, observance and enforcement of treaties, agreements and other constructive arrangements concluded with states or their successors, and to have states honor and respect such treaties, agreements and other constructive arrangements. Article 43 states, the rights herein constitute the minimum standards for the survival, dignity and well-being of the Indigenous peoples of the world. However, the owners of TMZ and employees thereof feel that they are above international law and feel justified in slandering a nation of Indigenous people that have never injured them. TMZ cannot deny the fact that the U.S. government and all the nations of the earth acknowledge Moorish American nationals as Aboriginal and Indigenous to the territories North, Central, and South America.
Recognize how you've been miseducated, not just by Europeans, but by your own. These people know that you're not black. They don't doubt it. They know that you're not black. And they know that you're Moors.
Moorish Americans are not African American or black.
Moorish Americans are indigenous to America.
Moorish Americans are not sovereign citizens.
In 2010, President Obama signed on to the Rights of Indigenous People. Moorish Americans are indigenous to America. So what Moorish Shield does is it helps to notify law enforcement magistrates and judges about Moorish Americans. Going into 2015 to 2016, we will continue to work with government and city officials, as well as the Secretary of State office, to assure that all Moorish Americans' rights are protected.